Tout a commencé le 13 mars 1997 dans le ciel de Phoenix. Cette nuit-là, à 22 h, des habitants de la ville filment avec leur caméscope.
Figure this one out. There's a double. There's a third one. Hey, Sue? All right, you tell me what it is. Oh, what do we got? Hey, Sue!
Oh my God!
The time is about 10 o'clock, Sue?
Yes.
10 o'clock, March 13th, Thursday night.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? Look at that.
Au même moment, à l'autre bout de la ville, un caméraman amateur saisit la même scène sous un autre angle.
Jesus Christ, it's some kind of spear or something.
Oh, you got
shit.
There's another one too. Where? Oh, look at that. Whoa, look at them all. There's 4 of them. Look at there's 3 of them all together. Oh!
Another one just showed up. They're multiplying.
Whoa! Maybe somebody's setting up.
And there's geometry behind this.
Terry est femme au foyer. Le 13 mars 1997, elle dînait dans son jardin avec une dizaine d'invités. À 20 h, 2 heures avant l'apparition des lumières dans le ciel, tous affirment avoir assisté à un phénomène spectaculaire.
Il était aux environs de 8 h, 8h15 cette nuit-là. Il faisait nuit. Tout à coup, l'un de mes invités a regardé en l'air. Oh, qu'est-ce que c'est? Nous étions entourés d'arbres dans ce jardin et nous ne pouvions pas voir la forme de l'engin. Le devant, l'arrière et les côtés, c'était tellement grand.
C'était un objet, pas des lumières. Vous avez vu un objet avec ses bords et tout le reste.
Non, nous ne pouvions pas voir les bords parce qu'il était trop grand. On pouvait voir son mouvement. Il se déplaçait, il y avait un ciel rempli d'étoiles et tout d'un coup, vous ne pouviez plus voir les étoiles.
C'était un peu comme un blackout, il a caché la lumière.
Il a caché toute la vue du ciel. Nous ne pouvions plus voir le ciel. C'était silencieux, absolument silencieux.
I'm Fife Symington. In 1997, during my second term as governor of Arizona, I saw something that defied logic and challenged my reality. I witnessed a massive delta-shaped craft that silently navigated over the Squaw Peak area in North Phoenix in the evening, and it was truly breathtaking. To my astonishment, it appeared to be a solid structure. It was huge. It had a very distinctive leading edge with huge embedded lights in it, and it was just traveling quietly, made no sound, through the Arizona night sky. I still don't know what it was. As a pilot and a former Air Force officer, I can definitively say that this craft did not resemble any man-made object that I'd ever seen. And it was certainly not high-altitude flares as put out by the Air Force at Luke Air Force Base, because I've never seen flares fly in formation. The incident was witnessed by hundreds, if not thousands, of people in Maricopa County and in southern Arizona. And my office was besieged with phone calls from very concerned citizens. The growing hysteria intensified when the story broke nationally, and so I decided to lighten the mood of the state, and I called a press conference where I dressed up my chief of staff in a Martian outfit. It was meant to be a spoof, a good-natured spoof. That worked. We managed to lessen the sense of panic at the time, but I also upset quite a few of my constituents. Well, I'd like now to set the record straight. I never meant to ridicule anyone. My office did make inquiries as to the origin of the craft, but to this day they remain unanswered. Eventually, the Air National Guard claimed responsibility, stating that their pilots had been dropping flares. They also, another individual from Tucson said that A-10s had been flying in formation over Maricopa County. But those of us in the Air Force, and those of you who know about A-10s, they're called the Warthog, it's a tank-killing aircraft, know that it's the noisiest machine in the sky, and there's no way that a flight of A-10s could come over Maricopa County and be quiet. That just doesn't work. So we get these explanations that fly in the face of facts, explanations like weather balloons, swamp gas, military flares, and hardware and software problems. I was never happy with this silly explanation. There might very well have been military flares in the sky that evening, but that sure wasn't what I and what hundreds of my fellow citizens saw. Well, I now know that I'm not alone in witnessing something extraordinary. That's the bottom line. There are many high-ranking military, aviation, and government officials, many of whom are here today, who share my concerns. Some of them have truly exceptional stories to tell. There's absolutely no doubt as to the veracity of what these men have told you. They have fought in wars, they have guarded top-secret weapons, and they've flown countless passengers throughout the world's skies. Incidents like these are not going away. 1 year ago, Chicago's O'Hare Airport experienced a UFO event that made national and international headlines. Pilots and many other airline employees observed a metallic-looking disc hovering over the United Airlines terminal for several minutes, and then it shot straight up into the sky, cut a hole in the sky, disappeared. The FAA apparently did not investigate, dismissed the sightings as weather. We want the United States government to stop perpetuating the myth that all UFOs can be explained away in down-to-earth and conventional terms. Instead, our country needs to reopen its official investigation that it shut down in 1969. The United States government can no longer shun an international dialogue about this phenomenon, and we invite the government to work in cooperation with countries as represented on both sides of me here today. When it comes to events of this nature, dealing with the great unknown, we deserve, I believe, more openness and a serious pursuit of the facts by our government. Thank you very much.
Fife Symington is now a businessman. He was the Republican governor of Arizona for 6 years, elected when the first George Bush was president. Now, a decade after leaving the State House, he takes me to a Phoenix park and discloses something unlike anything uttered by any other high-level U.S. politician.
If you had been here 10 years ago and standing out here and looking up there at the lights and the view, you would have been astounded. You would have been amazed.
Governor Symington is referring to what is now known as the Phoenix Lights, an object videotaped by many and seen by thousands over several nights in the Arizona sky in 1997.
Major sighting here.
It was described by witnesses as larger than a football field and silent.
It was a giant V, all right? And the right side of the V went over us. The left side was like a couple blocks over it.
We just didn't know what to do. You know, it was just like, my God, how big is this thing?
The lights were really brilliant, and it was just fascinating. It was enormous. It just felt otherworldly. You know, in your gut, you could just tell it was otherworldly.
Symington will be talking about this in an updated film about UFOs called Out of the Blue. He has also talked with an organization that wants UFO information more out in the open.
It's very significant that someone of the stature of a governor would come out and say that they acknowledge that they experienced a UFO, because it brings a lot of credibility and strength to the case.
Governor Symington says he did tell his family, friends, and staff about what he saw early on.
I still, behind the scenes, tried to investigate it, but I got nowhere.
Précise. Un de ces objets, au moins, a été vu en train de traverser en diagonale l'État de l'Arizona. Les stations de télévision locales et la police ont reçu des milliers de témoignages. C'est un truc incroyable, c'est énorme ce qu'on a pu voir.
En traitant cette vidéo par ordinateur, James Di Letoso a pu déterminer à quoi ressemblent les ovnis de Phoenix.
Nous avons en 3D les montagnes et la topologie de la région. Nous pouvons tourner autour de lui, le regarder sous différents angles et voir qu'il s'agit d'un objet qui, d'une extrémité à l'autre, mesure à peu près 1500 mètres.
Les journaux se sont emparés de l'histoire de cet immense objet en forme de V aperçu au-dessus de Phoenix.
In your gut, you could just tell it was otherworldly.